Survivor News.
Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News.
Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News.
What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to this week's Survivor News, covering Survivor Season 49, Episode 8. Super excited to be here with the man, the myth, the legend from Netflix, The Circle, Season 2, Jackery, the liar, Atkins. What's popping with you?
The liar?
Yeah, Jack. So we can start this pop. Well, listen, okay. And we
Wow.
also have Rome from Season 47 and the host of Rome's reality podcast. What's popping with you, Rome?
Not much, man. Appreciate the shout out. You know, it's always a pleasure whenever you guys have me on, and I'm ready to talk some Survivor. Appreciate the shout out of my podcast. Just getting started. It's been pretty fun. It's been pretty fun though. Doing my thing. So it's been fun.
Yeah, if you haven't checked out Rome's podcast, you can listen to it on the YouTube. It's a great podcast. I try to listen to it every week, and I text Rome what I think about it. But before we even talk about Survivor, let's get back to Jack Atkins being a liar.
Yeah, what the hell?
So, Rome, if I were to call you and you can't pick up and you say you're on a call, what would you assume that call is?
Pretty important.
Okay, thank you. Now, Jack recently graduated college a couple of years ago. Jack recently got a job. Jack now keeps a Google Calendar. So Jack be real, Jack be like, hey, he'll come to a watch party, be like, hey, I got a call. I'll be back, come back. So I, the other day, just decided to let me FaceTime my brother, see what he doing. He ain't pick up. FaceTimed him right back. He ain't pick up. He said, hey, I'm on a call, Brice. Give you a call back. I said, oh, my bad. Jack is working. I don't want to bother him. Then I went to get something to eat. Jack called me. I missed him. We called him back, called back. I finally got the man on the line, Rome. And I said, my bad, Jack. I didn't mean to interrupt you. This MFer says, oh, sorry, I was on the game. The game and a call is two different things.
Rome. Can I clarify something? I was on the game with friends who I was on a call with.
Rome.
And look, Brice, I hear you, but also if you're mid game and you can't like pause it, you're online with friends on the call. It's easier to just be like, yo, on a call than be like, hey,
no,
sorry,
I'm
on the game. Like
when you're playing a game and you're using Discord, you're in what they call a call with your friends, right?
Rome gets it. Brice, you picked the worst person to
this. So also, you got to understand, Brice, I've played League of Legends with Jack himself.
No.
We've
been on a call together.
So you were on the game, Rome, and I called you, what would your text response be to me?
Hey, let me finish up this game real quick.
Thank you.
Brice, I hear your friend. I also just feel like, usually if I'm on the game, I don't want to be dismissive and be like, yo, I'm on the game. It's kind of rude. So I'll just, hit it. But to be fair.
So a white lie.
Not a white lie. 95% of the other times, Brice, I might be a white liar. 90%, 95% of the times that I do say I'm a call, like especially at the events, it's a work call. But if I'm just, I'm at home, I'm on the game, and it's very high intensity. I don't want to just be like, yo, sorry, but I hear your frustration. I'm sorry about that. But I thought you were at like an event with someone who might I might know or something. So I wanted to be ready to FaceTime you with my full attention. So I was like, let me finish this up. I FaceTimed you back, didn't answer.
I was on a call.
Got on the game again. And then finally, after I wrapped up, we were able to call. But but I hear you, and I'm sorry about that.
I don't trust anything he say anymore, Rome, because I'm like, oh, so busy. So I was on a call. But anywho, now that we got that discovered, so would you consider this a call? If somebody were to call you right now, would you consider this a call?
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
And saying you're on a call, it's just easier than like, hey, I'm in the middle of a podcast with Brice and Rome, and then they'd be like, well, what's that? And it's like, well, I'm on the call. I can't tell you right now.
So maybe I should just start using that. Okay. Hey, take a note on the
Well,
call.
here's the thing. You say you're on a call, people might assume it leaves things open to interpretation, and people might be like, he might be talking to, he might be talking to Mom Donnie. Like he might be pretty busy. So that's a white lie you got to add to your arsenal, Brice.
Okay. I mean, I don't tend to lie, but now that I know calls can be anything, if I'm in the car, is that a call?
If you're on the phone.
If you're on the phone.
But what if I'm listening to?
But if you're in the car, you can just be like, "Hey, I'm in the car," and that's a valid.
Yeah, being on a call involves talking to someone else. So like he technically was in a Discord call with his friends talking about the game. So when he says I'm on a call, he is technically on a call with his friends. So he's not lying. Your perceived version of his truth was different than what he actually meant.
Facts. And that ties in right to what happens this episode on Survivor 49, these perceived truths. Was anyone on a call this episode?
A couple of people actually might been on a call.
So.
A three-way call at that too. But I just got back from Chicago from Brice and Win 49. We had multiple cities, same coast, different time zones, but we were in Atlanta with Ozzy. That was an amazing turnout. We were in Chicago. We had a lot of the 49ers there with us.
Same coast.
Is that's the same coast, right? Chicago's
God.
not the West Coast.
No,
Chicago's the West Coast.
Chicago's the
Midwest. Brice looked out at Lake Michigan and said, I can see England from here.
And so, is Atlanta considered the South?
Yeah. It's also East Coast.
Okay.
But Chicago's Midwest.
So we were in the Midwest, in the South. Chicago was amazing. Shout out to everyone that was there. Shout out to everyone that was in Atlanta. We're doing it again next week. Brice and Win will be in Denver, Colorado, and Ozzy will be in New York. From there, we'll be heading to Philadelphia, Baltimore, New York City again. And so you can get your tickets at Brice and Win Present Instagram or Twitter. We love to see you. An amazing episode. A lot to talk and to unpack. But before we get started, Rome, we haven't talked to you all season. What are your thoughts on this season?
I've been enjoying it. I said, multiple times, this season just feels like 2 seasons to me. Like it truly does. It feels like we had a mini season of the Blue Tribe getting decimated, and then the game started, and now we've got a game of Survivor going on. So it feels like, the Jake shenanigans, the pre-Jake shenanigans versus the post Jake shenanigans just feel like 2 completely different seasons. Like it doesn't even feel like Trashy Annie was like on this season. If you just like, you get what I'm saying? Just because it's like, it was such a distant, it has nothing to do with what's going on right now, like absolutely nothing, just because of how drastically that tribe got decimated. Losing 4 people in 7 days, that's really bad numbers, So, to me, it just feels like 2 seasons. So I enjoyed the first half of the season. It was dramatic. We had, the crazy medevac, and I'm enjoying this second half of the season, where, we get a lot of interesting Survivor gameplay. It looks like a lot of advantages at play, a lot of, potential major plays to happen, a lot of potential crazy blindsides, and that kind of makes sure that every single tribal is going to be somewhat exciting. So I kind of like this season so far.
In recent seasons, do normally like the first, second, or third boots have ripple effects 8 episodes in after they've been booted?
A lot of times there can be like there can be situations where like, hey, you sent home my number 1, so now I don't trust you later in the game, So like, and that's happened plenty of times, where like, your number 1 will go home and you look at the people that voted against them and you hold it against them till later. So it can play a factor, but there's absolutely nothing from those first 2 votes that are going to come back to bite anyone on this Blue Tribe. So that's why it feels like a totally distant memory, just because, it's so far distant.
And I'd agree, Brice, like to your point, those early votes that might not have a ripple effect, but you might still be seeing different tribes, different dynamics at play Whereas with this blue tribe, it almost got completely wiped out. So most of those people we saw on any of those tribals are just gone now. And then Sophie and Alex really aren't at the center of the narrative, at least right now, too much. I'm sure that they'll be back in the swing of things more down the line. But to Rome's point, right now, it does really feel like Uli versus Hina. And so all those pre-merge tribals with the blue tribe is just not a factor at all. It's like a 2-tribe season now.
I could get behind that though. Do you think, because we've seen in recent seasons with like the Tinka 3 with Jam Jam, Carolyn, and Carson, do either of you feel like Sophie B and Alex are in a potential position that they could be the winner of season 49?
I think definitely they could both be in a position to be sitting in those final seats. The problem is that right now they're just tag-along votes, and you don't win Survivor just being a tag-along vote. You win Survivor by being the reason the vote went a certain way, right? And this first vote at the merge, they flopped the vote. At least, neither
of them were there. Neither of those two are there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but Sophie, she voted the wrong way, and that's why in this episode we see her going back to Alex and being like, "Hey, Alex, like I know I just flipped and tried to pull the okie doke and go with Uli, but Uli they didn't vote right. So I'm trying to see how we can rekindle this bridge right here and get this back going, because that first vote with them didn't work out. But me and you, we shooting 100% together. Like she probably feels that way. Like, listen, me and you can ride this thing out. We'll be good to go. So let me try to work back my good graces with Alex right now, which is understandable because it can't feel good after getting so many votes right to all of a sudden get a vote wrong.
Yeah, I think both are in a good position though. Like it's more reminiscent of like a Malcolm and Denise, where you get whittled down to 2 people, you split up to different tribes. One kind of absorbs upon, then the other gets in with the other group, and then they're going head to head. And they should be able to slip by. Even though Sophie voted wrong, she still seems like she's in an okay spot. So I think they'll have opportunities to make some moves down the line. Like I think those 2 would probably be towards the top of my list of potential winners.
Do you think, like in a Sophie's position, because we see her going to Alex and we see her talking to Steven, I can understand talking to Alex because like that you've been with him the longest. Is it even worth saying anything to Steven?
Sure. I mean, you living with him, so like you might as well talk to him. Like you might as well make sure he's at least on your good side personally. Like you might not be able to talk heavy game with him, but you could still like make good with that person and make sure they feel good about you and don't want to write your name down first. Like feel like there's a potential to work with you in the future. So I mean, there's always positives to talking to people.
Well, I mean, obviously talking to him, but what I'm saying is like, is this a case where should she have done like a Jack Atkins and just told a white lie and just been like, like, I don't know who did, like, because would he really know?
Yeah, I think he'd know. I think you got to just be like, my bad. The people that I ended up with, like the only people I knew in the game told me this is what the vote was. And I'm sorry that happened. And hopefully we can mend fences moving forward. I think she handled it super well. The moment she tries to lie and be like, oh, I did vote Nate. It's like, no, you didn't. Then you just look super shady.
Yeah,
that's why I'm the third boot, because that's probably my approach that I would have went. Like I just would have been like,
you would have been like, wait, someone voted for you? I didn't know. Brice would be like, I voted for Nicole. Oh, you talking about this tribal? Oh, I don't know. I wasn't there.
I put Jake name down, but like he not here.
That's what I was gonna do at my last tribal. Remember, I wrote Sam's name down because I was like, okay, I think it's gonna be Saul. I think everybody's about to write his name down, so I'm gonna write Sam's name. And when I get back to camp, I'm gonna just say I wrote Saul's name too. I'm just like,
I don't mind a little hinky vote, but when it's one or the other, and people know who like just the 2 alliances were.
Yeah, but like there was 13 of us in that tribal council. Like I could have got away with that lie.
That you could for sure.
What did you tell Sam back at camp?
I didn't tell him anything. I was gone after that. There was nothing to talk about. I haven't talked to Sam since the island. So there we go.
Really?
There we go. Yeah.
Because of that hinky vote.
Yeah. You should have told him you voted for Andy.
You know what's crazy is I told Andy that night that he was going to be the decoy. Not to get off topic, but yeah, that night he did. He didn't believe me, and then that night when he saw his name come up, I looked at him immediately. He was like, wait a second. Like, so that put him on alert that I didn't actually lie. Like, yeah, Sam said your name was the decoy that night, so don't trust him as much as you want to, you know. So yeah.
We've been talking this season, or I've been trying to figure out the decoy vote, Rome. What's your thought on the decoy vote? I guess in the nuance of nobody wants to be the decoy vote, but someone has to be the decoy vote. And I almost argue at some point, like, you should volunteer to be the decoy vote.
And that happened this episode somewhat, Brice.
Yeah, I know. And which was interesting because it was the complete opposite 2 episodes ago where it was like you didn't want to be. But I also feel like if you want to be the decoy vote, you need to offer it. I think it's different when somebody is offering you as a decoy.
When someone's
vote.
telling you that you're the decoy, that is like
Essentially, is saying that you're the decoy is throwing their name out there. Like, look, if this backfires, it's you tonight. Like, oh, that's not where I want to be. Like, so, like you said, it's good it's better to volunteer, but at the same time, if you volunteer, like, hey guys, I'll be the decoy tonight, they might just turn around and be like, so all we gotta do is act like we're voting him out, so we can just vote him out. Like, so you know what I'm saying? Like, and he's gonna really think he's a decoy, we can just vote him out. Yeah. So you never really want to volunteer. Like, I just think the idea of a decoy vote is bad. Whether you're the decoy, whether you say someone else should be the decoy, like, you should never, the word decoy should never come out of your mouth as a Survivor player. Just let somebody else come up with the decoy plan. Like, Shot in the Darks didn't even get talked about this episode, which is wild.
What? Because
we can get that later if you want. But I don't understand how at Tribal Council, Sophie says, tonight it's 100% me or MC. All 6 votes tonight are either going to be me or MC. And neither one of them play the Shot in the Dark.
Well, I think there's a world that there's a split, though. So you need to keep your vote. Because if they think Savannah's...
What world is there a split when you know
the other Savannah's voting and Uli splits their votes on MC and Sophie, then you need to vote for the other person.
Now, quick question though. Rome, you said the last time you was with Wendell, his breath stunk.
When did I ever say that? When
Rome, I thought we were cool, man. That's crazy.
You should have heard what he was saying before you got on, Wendell.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
Y'all ain't right.
He
said he would have voted for Dominic.
He said he was taller than you. He was talking crazy.
He said you were lucky to make it to the merge on Winners at War.
Jeez. You know, I guess I deserve it. Guys, I'm just popping in real quick because I have to run to something. I'm on spring break down in Atlanta right now.
Okay, turn up.
And I gotta run to something. I gotta run to something in about 10 minutes. I'm still somewhere, but I just wanted to say hi to y'all. I want to quickly report that there was a Brice win Atlanta last night, hosted by Izyah, and he did a really good job on one leg.
Oh, one leg. Wait, what?
Izyah
had and a bullhorn.
Izyah had knee surgery. I don't know what happened to his knee, but he had knee surgery. And he hosted. And I got there late because we finished things late. I got there at 9:15. The episode ends at 9:30. When I walk in, Izyah runs up to me on crutches. He
runs?
He hobbles up to me on crutches. And he's like, Wendell, I want to announce that you're here. I got a bullhorn. I'm like, first of all, where'd you get a bullhorn from? And second of all, no, thank you. And then I go around, I say hi to everyone. I look over, Izyah is standing on a chair giving an announcement.
Is that why he had to have knee surgery in the first place?
Bruh, my man is overly ambitious, but I just want to...
He heard MC's name and thought it was an instruction.
Okay.
Good one, Jack.
That was funny. Now, before you go, Wendeezy,
yes,
we have talked about Jack is a liar, but also, can we also just call Jack out real quick? Because we could bring Rome into the group chat randomly this Sunday,
Oh, it
Windows sent out a group message
was Saturday
at,
for me.
at 6 a.m. I happened to be up, and Jack was the most responsive he has ever been.
Ever. Sharp. He was on it.
I was out late that night.
I was like, Jack, are you asleep? Jack was up. Now, mind you, he texted us maybe like 2 days before, and we didn't respond. And Jack was like, hey, yo, is y'all MFers going to hit me back about this? I said, oh, Jack.
Yes. And what's crazy is Rome. We thought, Brice was like, Jack, you're up early.
Yeah.
I'm like, this man hasn't gone to sleep yet.
It's true.
Wow.
Then Jack said, all right, I'm going to go to sleep. I'll hit you guys back in 2 hours. This month effort texts us at 10 p.m. Talk about, I'm just getting
I
up.
never
What's
said
up,
I'd hit you
y'all?"
back in 2 hours. I was going to
You
sleep.
did. But
I was going
we've
to
already
sleep.
determined, okay, is that another white lie?
I was about to say, did he say he was on a call? Like he was
Wait, I never said I was going to hit you back in 2 hours. I was going to sleep for the night. I said I'd hit you like in the afternoon.
If you
going
go
to sleep for the night at noon.
Right.
No, I was going to
Interesting.
sleep at like 5 a.m. and I said I'd hit you back when I wake up.
At 10 p.m.
No, it was at like, I mean, Eastern time. Maybe it was like 4 p.m. But,
All right. Well, let's get into this episode.
but yeah, it was. Wendell, what do you think? I know you have to run, but what do you think about the episode, Wendell?
I got there at 9:15. I didn't see what
I thought you were
happened.
in Chicago. You're in Atlanta?
Yeah, I'm in the A for a couple weeks doing a little something. So yeah, I got there at 9:15 and Ozzy's like, yo, Savannah's making a move or something like that. And then I saw a tribal, but yeah, we'll talk about that when I jump on next week.
But before you go, though, Rome and Jack were making a point where Rome said that Sophie was like, it's either me or MC. And Rome is like, it's not that. Y'all could play your shot in the dark, and it didn't come up. Do you feel like what's your thoughts on the shot in the dark?
I didn't watch it that intently, so I don't know the full context.
Thank you, Wendell. Yes.
Thank you, King.
I'm dead. All right. Thanks, Wendeezy. We got a pod to go to. So that actually is a really good point, though. You're saying, Jack, the shot in the dark wouldn't have been a good option?
Well, I'm saying here, if you think that the Ulis are voting for you, like if for Sophie or MC, and you think that Savannah's voting, so they have 4 votes. I think there's a very good possibility they split the vote, in which case you should vote for the other person.
Why would they ever split the vote 2-2 when they're trying to get 2 people out? You don't 2-2 split a vote with 6 people.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You 2-2-2 vote. There's been many 2-2-2 votes.
Because then it could come back on one of them. This is the reason why you don't do that, right?
But it can come back on one of them if they all vote for the same person. They have an idol.
Hear me out. They 2-2-2 voted, right? The 2 that are on the outs, right? That know they're on the outs, MC and Sophie, they put their 2 votes on Rizzo.
Mm-hmm.
Then they announce, okay, everyone has 2 votes. The 3 people that are up for whatever are MC and Rizzo, right? MC, Rizzo, and Sophie. The other people might sit here and say, hey, guys, Rizzo has an idol. They don't got nothing. Why don't instead, when he can't play it right now, we just vote him out? That could have easily happened, right? That could easily happen. You don't want to give a chance to people to change their minds. So I don't think
if they're under the, but also if they're under the belief that Sophie and MC are going to vote for each other, then you kind of have to then vote for one another. Like Sophie and MC clearly lost trust in each other, so they're going to vote for each other.
And that's what I'm saying. That's where I'm saying they definitely should have played their shot in the dark. You know, if you're on the right side of the vote, it doesn't matter if you play your shot in the dark. You're safe. If you're on the wrong side of the vote,
because say MC and Sophie are voting for each other, and then Uli does split the vote. Say I'm Sophie and I play my shot in the dark. Now I receive 3 votes and MC receives 2, and I go home. Whereas maybe if I vote and I tie it up, then they're going to re-vote MC.
In my opinion, you would never 2-2 split a vote with 6 people. Like that's just never.
That happens a lot.
You say it happens a lot. When's the last time it happened that we had with 6?
I don't know off the dome exactly when the last time was, but that happens. I mean, it's obviously very situational for having 6 people, but that definitely does happen. In Brice's season, they split a vote.
That's how I went home.
And if he had voted for Morgan, it could have been different, right?
Yeah,
so with 6 people, it was a 2-2-2 split.
Well,
Mhm.
but
And then
didn't
we had to,
Morgan vote for you and you voted for like Alexis?
so no, me and Morgan voted Alexis. Jeffra and Alexis voted me. LJ and
Voted Morgan.
voted Morgan.
And then
And then
they re-voted Brice on the re. But if Brice had voted for Morgan, she would have
Morgan,
gone home.
which I
There-
didn't know Rome at the time, so like I didn't,
There you go. That's fair.
Obviously,
But
there was no shot in the dark to be played either then, but
I just think as a survivor, like if I'm
It's a
out there on
calculated
the
risk.
island
Your
and there's
point.
6 people and it's announced it's me or her tonight, they're not about to split the vote. Like they're not gonna, like I don't think, like in my head there's a 0% chance that they're about to 2-2 split this vote.
I guess it depends on your calculus, but like if that's your but if that's what you think, then yeah, you can play your shot in the dark. I've made that point a lot before, where if you think it's me or them, it's just like my vote doesn't matter. You should play your shot in the dark. But
yeah, and that was the situation. Like it's her, like it's one or the other.
But I
If
think
you're
in
on
this
the,
instance, there's a good chance they split, and it's worth voting for the other person.
I don't think.
Yeah, that's why it depends on your assessment.
Yeah,
of the situation,
it
but-
depends on the player. But I just think
Yeah.
it was interesting. It didn't even get brought up because I know that if I'm sitting here and I'm on the wrong side of the vote and I don't play my shot in the dark, I'm just the one vote that went the wrong way and I didn't even try to save myself. But guess what? If I was on the right side of the vote and I played my shot in the dark, I still had a chance at staying, and I'm staying in the game.
But does that speak to the level of Survivor players that we have now, that maybe it was a conversation that we didn't see, not from them, but to make them feel comfortable not to play their shot in the dark, in the sense of like where they're gassing MC up to be like, it is Sophie, and they're gassing Sophie up to be MC. So it's like, because we see this in the new era, they think about that risk and they don't want them to play it in the event that it does hit. So could that speak to the gameplay of the rest of the tribe that is here, or do you think it's just circumstantial?
I think. Go ahead.
I don't think MC or Sophie were fully bought in that it wasn't going to be them. But I think it was. But I think it was more to me again. I think it's more if you're worried they're going to split, you got to put your vote on the other person. Now, I mean, we can stay on this before we move forward, but to me, they shouldn't have been in this position to begin with.
I'm with you on that, because I don't know where y'all want to go, because so much after this immunity challenge that I'm just confused about, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I'm kind of mad at Jawan. I'm mad, like, again, nobody.
Why are you mad at Jawan?
Because I feel like Jawan, when MC came to Jawan and was like, hey, trying to build trust with you, just to let you know, Sophie throwing your name out, blah, blah, blah. Like, I felt like throughout the episode, then when Sophie was talking to Jawan again, they're back on good terms. Like, Jawan's still keeping that option open. I kind of thought that was crazy. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're saying you can't trust MC because she played an idol and didn't tell you. Okay. But now she's coming to tell you information, and she's saying that, listen, Sophie trying to boom, 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 and it's you. And then throughout the course of the events, Jawan is still willing to work with Sophie. I'm like, what's happening here?
I think it's because once Savannah came back on that boat as the hot Grim Reaper, like she said, I think that was the moment where Uli became Uli strong real quick, because they realized Savannah's immune. That's a guaranteed vote going however she wants. She can vote however she wants. She's safe. Yeah. Rizzo has an idol. So that's 2 people on Uli that are voting together. You know they're voting together and they're safe. So the smartest thing to do when there's a group of 6 people and you know where 2 votes are going and you know 2 people potentially are safe, just vote with them. Just do whatever they want. It's that simple. Like in Survivor, it's that simple of a vote. As long as I go with you and don't make you upset, you're not going to vote me out. So it's that simple for Jawan and Sage to just be Uli strong and go back to their red tribe roots. And
although I do agree with you, Brice, because I fully agree with Rome, where you're in that situation, then it becomes a little bit too much of a risk to go for Rizzo at that point. Now we can touch more on that a little bit in a bit. But I agree with you, Brice, where MC gives you this information. Jawan should probably want to keep MC and take out Sophie. Although I also think you factor in other things, like according to them, MC more socially connected. And a lot of the case to take out Sophie was like, she's a challenge beast. I'm like, have we seen MC? Like, she's the biggest beast out there. So obviously you factor that in. I think for Uli, it maybe does make more sense to take out MC. Now, maybe for Jawan, to your point, Brice, she's the one who brought you that information. Maybe you want to, but maybe he didn't want to stick his neck out too much, which I think is reasonable in a vote like this. My biggest gripe,
let's hear it.
and I hate to say, and I guess we're just talking about the post challenge, everything. We can get back to all that stuff in a bit too, but I think MC's fatal flaw was just telling Jawan about
yes, 100%.
Because to me, Sophie, and of all these situations to offer yourself up as a decoy, Brice, I don't think this was a terrible one where you sort of think that. Now, I don't know if I would have fully offered myself up, but I think it creates a good plan where she diagnoses that Rizzo's a bit cocky. He's probably not going to play his idol. Maybe I make the most sense as Sophie, as the target. I'm just going to lean into that. And like 80% of the time, we'll take out Rizzo with his idol. I think that's a good move. And so for MC, now when that happens, the options are either we take out Rizzo with his idol or he plays his idol and then the vote goes on Sophie. And as MC, I'm in a really good spot. And even if like Rizzo plays his idol and Sophie throws a vote on Jawan, I'm still a deciding factor in whether Jawan or Sophie go home, right? So there's really no need to tell Jawan about this because let the vote happen. You either blindside Rizzo and everyone goes for that, or if the idol gets played, then you can be like, oh, I didn't know Sophie was going to throw a vote. Let me vote Sophie out, or let me revote with Sophie and take out Jawan. You still have the options. So don't information is the most critical thing. Don't give out this information when you could have been the one who is A, safe, and B, has like the most intel on what's going to happen and can move accordingly from there. And I could see why she maybe wanted to tip him off, but at that point you're giving out everyone too much crucial information. You're also breaking up the trust of that group that wants to blindside Rizzo. And now the target is going to spin back on you.
Well, she did say in her exit press that it didn't make the cut, but she told Jawan because she didn't want another black person to go home in a split tribal. So she did apparently say that out there on the island. And
fair.
It ended up coming to bite her, and it still ended up happening. So
now I can agree with the sentiment of wanting to work with Jawan, but you still, if you think about it, like if there's a revote, Sage in Savannah, she doesn't know Savannah at this point, but in her mind at this point, she and Sage would both be voting on the revote. They could just send Sophie home. So
Sage and Jawan might sit here and be like, oh, like that's where I'm thinking, like either vote together and throw another vote, like another 2 votes on someone if you think they're going to split the vote, or just play your shot in the dark. Like I feel like there was only 2 options. I feel like voting for the other person was redundant because if you're right, there's already
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if they all 4 of them vote for Rizzo,
right,
and Rizzo plays an idol, and now there's 1 vote on Sophie from Rizzo and 1 vote on Jawan from Sophie, then the people that are voting are like Rizzo, Sage, and MC. And if MC wants to save Jawan, Sage is going to vote for Sophie. So MC could just vote with Sophie and vote for Jawan, MC could just vote with Sage and vote out Sophie. And then your agenda is still accomplished without kind of making yourself vulnerable to the vote getting switched up on you. Like, I'm not mad at MC for wanting to work with Jawan. I think you just got to kind of hold that information.
And but obviously, and we've seen time and time again that like it is a person of color that goes out in these votes, like in all of the new era. So do you think it was a matter of like her thinking too forward, right? Obviously, I know she wants to work with Jawan because she doesn't want another black person to be voted out. But I'm also thinking it's like you're trying to gain favor here. And it's like you're trying to play for next week and the week after that. And it's a sense of like where we see time and time again in Survivor, where it's like you actually need to play for today, right now. You can figure that out later.
This is where she should have had Sandra's mentality. Anybody but me. The plan wasn't going to be you, and you made it you. You made it a reason to be you. Like anytime that their plan isn't going to be you for any reason, don't give people a reason to switch it onto you for any reason, right? Like that's the number one thing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But I could see in her mind how telling Jawan that I wouldn't foresee that getting back to Sophie.
It's true, but and that's the thing. I think in the moment it was probably a quick decision. She knew she wanted to work with Jawan. It probably didn't carry that much weight. I mean, that sort of stuff happens all the time where someone kind of tips someone off, and that's how you build some trust. But I agree with Rome here of like, it's a smaller tribe. There's a better chance it's going to be you. And now you've been presented with this option where, okay, it's either we pull off a blindside on Rizzo or Sophie goes home, and kind of disseminating that information could jeopardize that and really isn't going to alter the outcome at all. Like, it really just kind of lessens your agency in the situation by telling someone. And that's the issue. Like, that's the thing. It happens a lot where someone's like tips someone off, and that's how you build trust down the line, which is fair. But I think given this information, like you both said, it's like, okay, it was going to be Rizzo or Sophie, and now you're introducing an option where it could be you in a small group.
Again, unlike Jack, who tells white lies, right? So I found Sophie's defense to be so interesting when she's talking to Jawan, and she's like, listen, when I'm talking to you, straight facts. Like, I'm not lying. I'm not BSing you. But in my mind, I'm like, and mind you, I'm believing her because on my rewatch, I'm like, okay, this is compelling. But then I'm like, well, what are you doing when you're not talking to me, right? Like, I don't know, like, but I also thought that was some real shit talk, right? Where it's like, when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. And so I almost kind of sort of feel like she sort of was saying, just talk to me. You know, because like, you know, when you're out there at Rome, like, it's kind of like that Boston Rob mentality. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, where it's like, hey, me and you are locked in, and so we don't need to talk to anybody else. So like, just talk to me, or make sure that you're not talking to anybody else, and we're good. But I also was just like, Sophie, how are you telling Joe, like, you just got caught in a lie, saying that you was going to throw him under the bus. Now you telling him, listen, when I'm talking to you, I'm not BSing you. Is that one of the cases where it's like two things could be true? Or is that like, because what would you do if somebody said that to you?
It would be tough in this situation because you need to play it cool because it's such a tight-knit group. Like, at the time, they still thought it was a 5-person tribal, right? At the time, before Savannah pulled up. So if I'm thinking it's a 5-person tribal, there's 3 Ulis, 2 Hinas. I still want to hopefully work with the 2 Ulis, you know what I'm saying? Like, on this vote, I would rather do that than try to jump ship and make friends with both of the Hinas and do another flip, you know? The only thing that I'm thinking of, though, is that Jawan already flipped on the old Ulis by voting out Nate. So maybe he could have worked with the Hinas in a 5-person vote. But the second Savannah showed up, all that was out the window. Like I said, the second Savannah showed up, there was just way too much weighted on the Uli side, and it just became between MC and Sophie. And that's why they both said it. They knew it. They're like, look, it's between me and her tonight, Jeff. And so that's why I think if you know that it's between you or her, and they know that neither one of you guys have an idol, they're going to stack the votes on you. They're not going to bank on a shot in the dark hitting. They're going to just stack the votes. That's why I think they both should have just played their shot in the darks. Even if you know it's going to be both of you guys, announce that you're both playing your shot in the darks. Be like, look, y'all better get it right because we got a 2 in 6 chance, essentially, of hitting the shot in the dark right now. And you know what I'm saying? Between 2 of us, and y'all might get it wrong. And then who's going to be the spare vote now? Come up with a decoy just in case. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can kind of, I don't know. Like, you might be able to just at least have more leverage just using your shot in the dark, but it didn't get mentioned. So, it didn't get mentioned. So I don't know why, but it didn't get mentioned.
It isn't kind of interesting because if I'm in Jawan's shoes looking at Sophie, it's weird because to me, it's not like an egregious breach of trust. Like, I can't really fault her for volunteering to be the decoy. And then it's like, okay, just for the sake of self-survival and not to betray you, but I'm just going to throw a vote on somebody. And it's like, it's understandable. And she kind of came clean about it now, but in Jawan's shoes too, it's like, well, okay, if I'm your alternative, you know, she's close with MC. She's probably closer with Sage. Like, I don't think that means she doesn't want to work with him, but I then see why it's like, okay, maybe this isn't my ideal. I mean, granted, he ends up keeping her or being a vote to keep her. The weird thing is I think that even with this whole Rizzo plan and like how it falls apart, I do think there's a world where for Sage and Juwan, even without like Rizzo, like with, you know, all these other factors, maybe just for the sake of like keeping the numbers kind of balanced and keeping your options open, voting out a MC or a Sophie just like is better. You know, even though you just worked with them, now you still kind of renew these Uli relationships a little bit, and you take out a Hina number. Whereas if you take out Rizzo, okay, there's like Savannah and Sophie. That's like a really no idol, and that's a really small group that's probably going to be able to work their way back into the game. And then all these Hinas now just like have good numbers. I think the ideal thing for them, and this could have been complicated, so it's like I see why maybe they just opted for like the safer, solid route of taking out. Like I the way I would stack these options.
Okay.
I think the best thing is you vote for Rizzo, but you can get him to play his idol.
Right.
And one of them goes home. So now the idol's flushed, but that Savannah, Rizzo, Sophie group is still a big target with no idol. And then I would say you'd rather just take out a Sophie or an MC, which is what they did. And Rizzo keeps his idol, but still a target. And then I think the worst option is I think blindsiding Rizzo with the idol is actually the worst option. Because like I said, now Savannah and Sophie, they've really been like had their assets mitigated. Like they have no Rizzo, they really don't have any numbers, and they're both social players. And then yeah, the Hina numbers are still strong. I think that actually puts them in like the worst position. So I can see why they went the safer route. Because obviously the best option of getting Rizzo to play as idol and then sending one of them home, that's a little difficult. That's a little hard to execute. So I can see why this safer option of getting out like a Sophie or MCs might have been just like the best solid move, right? I don't know. Do you guys feel like those options were tiered in the correct way?
Because I feel like, why aren't we at least trying to flush Rizzo's idol out? Like, I feel like that should have been, and again, this is 3 episodes in where nobody is listening to Sage. 3 times Sage has been, in my opinion, she's been like, we need to get Savannah out. We need to get Rizzo out. Like, we need to get Shannon out. Like, she has a good pulse on what needs to happen. And so I think my mind would have been, okay, not even trying to get Rizzo out. It's just, I want a little pressure. Just a little pressure for him to at least be tempted to play his idol. Because it seemed like from every confessional, he was good. Like there was just no pressure on him for that. And I've been saying the last couple of episodes, like, I've been waiting to meet the Riz God. I feel like we've only met Riz. And so I feel like we're starting to see a little bit of the Riz God because the way he navigated this, I was like, okay, Riz God, I'm seeing what's up because your confidence, your connections came through. I'm like, I'm starting to see this beast of a player.
And Sophie hit the nail on the head being like, how is he the target with an idol and now he's the one running this vote? Like it really shouldn't have been that way.
Well,
but
I don't feel like Rizzo should get the credit for this vote. I feel like Savannah should get the credit for this vote. She pulled up like on her white horse and
but she was safe. Like Rizzo, and before she even got there, Rizzo had them. I mean, to be fair, maybe it was more of them imploding a little bit themselves, but Rizzo clearly had a lot of sway when he should have been the target on paper.
Her being safe allowed Rizzo to be more confident that not only could I play my vote and be safe, but also have a second vote in Savannah with me with an extra vote. So we have 3 potential votes. Like that's like if they thought that the vote might go any other way, they could just play that extra vote. And that's 3 out of the potential 7 votes.
It wasn't an extra vote this tribal. It was just 1 vote, but she could bank it to be an extra vote in the future. So they only had their 2 votes between them.
Well, either way. Okay, so a 6 vote.
But still, I maintain as soon as Savannah pulls up, it's like a shield that,
it's like an extra vote for Rizzo. So he's got an extra vote and an idol. That's essentially what Rizzo had when Savannah pulled up. It went from Rizzo being a potential, do you got to play it, do you not, to when Savannah pulled up, it was no question. And then, of course, Sophie was like, Jeff, it's between me or MC tonight. At that point, if I'm Rizzo, I'm like, all right, I'm chilling. I don't gotta do nothing but write down a name. I'm chilling. Like I'll just, eeny, meeny, miny, mo at this point.
But that's why it's like I really think if they could have all just like if MC hadn't broken that trust and they could all just buy into that plan and even really just play up like it's me or MC tonight, like really play that up, Rizzo still would have been comfortable and it would have worked.
This is also
even if that would have worked, like I said, I don't know if that's what Juwan and Sage should have actually wanted to do, but
this is also why you don't play your idol until you could potentially go home.
Well,
because if MC still had her idol, I feel like if you get a win that you're in danger, a whiff that you're in danger, you'd know it. She got no whiff last episode that she was in danger. The only thing that she knew was that Savannah knew that she potentially had one, so that other people knew about it. That was the only reason that she played the idol. She thought she was in the majority. She thought she was good to go. The vote wouldn't have bounced back on her if it did bounce back, and she still played her idol. In my opinion,
it's easy to say. Like,
right.
And I was surprised by how much backlash she caught this episode for playing the idol. But to me, I still agree. It's like, that was her first time voting. She's never voted with anybody at all. I mean, like Rome in your season, if you had an idol at the merge and you didn't know where people stood, like,
I would have played it that night for sure. Like that.
Yeah,
that night
you had a little bit more heat, but
yeah, I got a nice whiff when I sat in Jeff's seat.
Like to me, if I'm one of the other people, I'm like, I don't know if
that pisses me off.
If I'm not mad at MC for playing it. Now, maybe it shows a little bit that she didn't have full 100% confidence, but like it's Survivor. Like I can't blame someone for not 100% trusting me who I just met.
That was a tribe with 11 people there. That was a tribal with 11 or 10 people there. She didn't. There was no like in my opinion. If you have a full blown idol, it's not like this idol's good for one time or like it's about to expire. This is a full blown idol.
But
like.
But after that interaction with Savannah, knowing who Savannah is and her connections, that wouldn't have worried you?
No, because based off how Savannah's interacting with everyone right now, who else is going to just jump on Savannah's bandwagon and vote the way that she wants to?
But I could still be worried that, I don't know. Like, but at the same time, you know, obviously hindsight's 2020 because of how it worked out this episode. But I'm also, if I'm MC and I don't know, maybe I don't know they're going to split the tribes up or that I'm going to be in this group, and I just think we're at a regular merge for the rest of the way. MC at the final 10 with an idol might become a target because she has this idol because she's that. Whereas once she plays the idol, it's sort of like I don't think if they were still if it was a normal final 10 vote, I don't think MC's going to be the target. So.
But Rizzo also has an idol. Like, it's not like there's no idols in the game other than hers. Like, Rizzo had an idol. He was in the same situation.
And he was a target. Now, I think that's why this split.
Neither was he. That's what I'm saying.
But Rizzo, if this was a final 10 vote with everybody, I think Rizzo and Savannah are in tons of trouble. Partly because Rizzo has his idol.
But say Rizzo didn't even have an idol, and this is the breakdown of the tribe. Do we still think that? I still think they would have targeted Rizzo.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, but and that I guess is a great segue to like then this tribe split up, right? That obviously threw a wrench in a lot of things, and I feel like had not happened, MC probably would still be in the game. But what do you guys think? And they did it a little differently this season. But what do you guys think about? You know, breaking these tribes into two groups. What do you guys think about this twist in general?
I hate it.
We're back to 15 people in 3 tribes, in my opinion. Like, there's no difference than, like, literally, like, I was so confused because I was waiting for drop your buffs, and then I realized you already gave them merge buffs. Like, you can't re-give out merge buffs and switch up the merge colors. So, like, you know, like, we can't drop a buff. So, get on the bandanas, you know what I'm saying? Put on the little bandanas, the little bow ties, you know, and make it work. Because, like, I was so confused by this, but also it's like, I understand that with Jake going home and, you know, with essentially 2 people going home in one episode, it threw off the timeline of things a little bit. So I get having to get a little wonky, but I don't feel like I feel like once they merged in this season, let them play. Like, let them play as a merged group and let the chips fall. Because in my opinion, like you said, I think Rizzo or Savannah would have went home almost guaranteed in this episode, or at least would have been the target. Savannah still would have won individual immunity. Rizzo would have still had his idol. So granted, he could have been a target, but he would have known to play it probably. So he probably would have played it. So I don't know. Like, it's a bunch of what ifs, right? We're sitting here playing a bunch of what ifs at the end of the day. But like, I just think that as a whole, Rizzo didn't really have that much agency until Savannah pulled up.
But I agree with Brice. I really don't like this twist. And I think of the new era or whatever, this tribal did end up being pretty interesting. But as soon as they announced the twist, I'm imagining like why half the people not vote, not even being there is just you're taking away from people to build a resume, to make moves, to build connections, like just could kind of increase the state of the game. And I was immediately envisioning, Final 10, there could be a really interesting dynamic here where Rizzo's got his idol and Savannah's like clawing tooth and nail to stay in the game, and Rizzo's maybe bluffing using his idol on her, and Sophie's got the knowledge is power, and maybe this like creates a whole new dynamic that blows the game wide open.
Yeah.
And instead we just have half the tribe voting. Right. And ultimately along old tribal lines, kind of.
And the other thing is like, I think we're all the people that obviously know who's on 50. We're sitting here waiting for, the reason that these people, got brought up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're waiting on like the reason. So, because like a lot of people have said, hey, like Rizzo ain't really been this big character that we thought he was going to be so far, like, things like that. And so like people are kind of waiting on this gigantic move that potentially might happen. Yeah. It hasn't really happened yet. This episode wasn't really that great in my opinion. Like he was on the right side of the vote, but like I said, I don't feel like he had that much agency until Savannah showed up immune with a vote, and you know what I'm saying, potential to
and given that knowledge too, obviously it's kind of an alternative timeline for the final 10, but knowing Rizzo and Savannah are on the bottom and knowing that they end up on 50, I was like, this could be a tribal council with some fireworks. Right. Obviously it might have all ended up different because that's just there was no final 10 tribal. Maybe Rizzo would have gone home and he wouldn't have been on 50. But I wanted to see them play from the bottom because we know that there's some dogs. And instead it's like, okay, now half the tribe at a very critical part of the game. Like a lot of the most interesting votes are at like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's where people like lay out the rest of their game and make these big moves. I mean, wasn't the Saul vote your season final 10, Rome? That was a great vote with Genevieve blindsiding Saul.
Remind me.
Yeah, we just strip away all this potential and bring it down to like just a smaller thing. Like it's just kind of naturally minimizing it.
If Jake wouldn't have went home, do you think we would have had 2 tribal councils?
Yeah, I think so.
And so
it's like kind of a schedule thing ultimately, isn't it? Right? Why they do this?
Yeah.
But
every day we were out there, we were predicting what was going to happen that day because it's the same schedule for every New Era season. So like, when you're on an island with Teeny and people that are like super fans, like we're gonna talk about it. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna talk about like, oh, day 7, it's a rest day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't plan on that happening today.
But Brice, it's a good point because Jake went home now. In Rome, you alluded to this. They could have just done a normal tribal, and they wouldn't have had to worry about like the whole schedule thing.
Yeah.
What would you have thought if like both tribes went to tribal council?
Still?
Yeah.
I don't know. I never loved the split. I'm honestly glad the split tribes just never that fun.
That's the thing.
So losing 2 people would have been worse than losing 1, in my opinion.
Christina has an idol. Soph has a steal knowledge is power that she doesn't know Christina has an idol. Maybe, but she didn't tell anyone that she has knowledge is power. And that's kind of the issue is if you only know what you know. So you got to know about the idols. So you kind of got to tell people that maybe know about the idols and where they're at. Hey, I got knowledge is power. So that, we could use that because Christina got an idol. She just told me. We found it with her.
Now, I do love the way that Sophie is handling her knowledge is power, though, because I feel like in every season prior to this, they've talked about knowledge is power. So I'm so shocked that we haven't even seen someone like speculating about the knowledge is power. So I think that is somewhat interesting. But I mean, you need to know where the bodies are laid if you're going to be able to dig them up.
And I like that Soph's keeping it secret because Rome, there is a point like maybe someone knowing you have it makes them more inclined to give you that intel, but also them knowing you have it. Like I think her allies are going to tell her about the whereabouts of idols they know about anyways. And then so that someone knowing about that, it's just going to get out. Every time it gets out, it becomes a disaster.
Right. And,
can we talk about, I guess, you brought it. You started touching on
you know what's crazy? Like, granted, assuming that there's not going to be any more split tribals, just assuming, right? Yeah. Christina if she, like, whether she wins or gets voted out at any point, is a juror at every point, she will show up to 7 tribal councils. That's it. If she makes it like the rest of the game, she's a juror. She's only going to be there for 7 tribal councils as a whole. That's it. She's only been to 1 so far, and now we're at the final 9.
And if you count the final 4, which is a fire making, then she'll be at 6.
Exactly. Yeah, technically. So she would have went to 6 voting tribal councils if she makes it to the very end, right?
Yeah.
That to me is why that is it's a survivor dream, right? If you're a player, you're like, hey, I didn't have to vote much. I only had to vote 6 times, and I'm
How
chilling.
many times
but also,
has Sophie B been to tribal? Has she been to
she's been to 7 already. She
Wow, that is crazy.
So she already been to tribal more than Christina could possibly go in the whole season. So that's why, like, I don't know, with this all these switches and the merge being a fake merge and then another split, like, it just makes certain people just not have to play the game. So, like, we saw Christina find an idol, and we didn't see Christina on our screen again the rest of the episode because it didn't matter at all. No one finding an idol at the final 10 shouldn't matter, in my opinion. That shouldn't matter for tonight. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. Yeah, it's a great point. And it's to me, the biggest gripe is not only like bringing the group of 10 to 5 and minimizing the scale of it. It's also those other 4 or 5 players, if you include Savannah, that we don't see their strategy at all. They don't have to do anything. And that's a really big opportunity where people could build a resume, and you just completely remove that. So,
and this is the thing, right? If you look at the history of just the winners in general, right? They haven't exactly come from tribes that are running it down. You know what I'm saying? Like unless there's a swap, like on Kyle's season, right? Like when Kyle won, there was a swap, and then things went a little bit left. But before that, if you look at 47, right? Rachel's tribe lost twice. She went to tribal twice early, right? She got a little bit of clout under her belt tribal wise. Then you go to 46, Kinsey. She went 4 times pre-merge. Yeah. She got that right under her belt. You have to have somewhat of a resume when you're sitting at the end in order to be able to talk, right? We look at 45, D. I think she did really, really well up until the merge, right? So that's a situation where she kind of had to do a lot post-merge to get that resume, which is what she ended up doing. 44, Jam. He went to tribal a lot. You know what I'm saying? So these people are getting resumes. Yeah. Unless you have a spectacular post-merge, you usually at least went to tribal pre-merge like a couple times.
Yeah,
you know, to build up that.
About. Whereas now, like you said, now for like a Christina, she might get to the end against Rizzo or whatever. And Rizzo's like, well, at the final 10 tribal, I did this, and that. Because he was like, well, I wasn't even there. I didn't get to do anything.
They can sit here and say, all right, Christina, what moves have you done to get here? Yeah. And she could be like, well, I didn't really have to start playing until final 9. But, you know, like after that, I did this, and this, and these 4 votes, I should win. Like, that's not going to work.
Well, I mean, some could say you could ask Chris Underwood, because it kind of feels like almost a Chris Underwood-esque.
Well, yeah, but that's not the standard of game you want to, not even a knock on Chris, but that's not the position you want to necessarily be in. That's not going to be the strongest winning pitch, I feel like.
Christina could make it to fire. She could.
And that's not a knock. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you almost want to go a couple times pre-merge, but even still, if you make it to the merge without going, it's just, I don't know. Like, you want to win immunity, but I think that's the thing. In the moment, none of these players are necessarily going to be like, I'm going to throw this so that
we could go to
tribal. But just put everybody there.
Some airtime. I'm losing today.
And also, if you think about it, like, and not that it's that big of a point, but if now your safety is determined just by someone else on your tribe winning who was randomly assigned to your group, like that, I feel like that's how it goes sometimes, but kind of random too. Like, Christina's safe because Savannah won, but she could have, I don't know. That's just like a random thing. Now, if it's a whole team wins or the whole team loses, I like that. I don't know. I like that a little bit more, I feel like. Yeah. But if everyone's sitting on the bench watching Savannah and Sophie go at it, it's like, well, we could have easily been on the other side of the bench in just kind of different circumstances.
I love when Savannah got off and she was like, I was thinking about all of y'all. That's what made me win. Like, I love just Savannah's riz that she puts on. Can we 2 seconds talk about Sophie? Not Sophie B, but the other Sophie. Yeah. We haven't seen a lot of Sophie, and I felt like this episode we got to actually see Sophie.
She was fun.
I was like, well, okay, Sophie. Like, Sophie don't get it confused. She clearly almost won this challenge. She won last challenge, and the girl can pivot. She's got brains. Like, I was like, oh wow, like, why haven't we seen this?
She's funny too.
Yeah.
Like her comment at Tribal about like, I feel like I'm waiting for pickup from school, but mom's here. Yeah, she's funny. Like I think a big reason maybe why they edited her down a little bit is because of some of those comments that are a little bit sarcastic or like cynical of like, oh, fruit, like that's diet food, which production probably didn't appreciate, but like as the audience, I think it's really fun. So I'm hoping we get, yeah, exactly. I'm with you. I hope we get to see some more stuff. I thought she was going to go home because we haven't seen her at all. But now I'm hoping maybe we see a little bit, but she's funny. She's entertaining. She's a good confessionalist, like, and she's playing the game hard. So yeah, I wish we saw a little bit more of her.
Yeah, and just another little dope. I've been loving Sage, and I've been saying this since episode 3. I feel like Sage is going to the end. She's going to be final 3, and I love the fact that, and we even see it from Savannah this episode, talking about how Savannah's like, everyone goes to Sage. Like, I love how Sage waited. She didn't jump on people. She kind of made these natural connections, and I love how it is absolutely paying off for Sage. I just am curious as to know what Sage is in her mind, where her end game is. Because we see that conversation with her and Savannah, and it seems pretty genuine where they're like, what y'all doing today? Because I don't know what I'm doing. And it's like just an interesting opportunity to see what Sage could do, because clearly she's another one that has it in her that didn't necessarily have the opportunity in the beginning, but now clearly is running-ish, and it makes me nervous because we've seen Sage play from the bottom. Now she's playing at the top, and I feel like when you're playing at the top, there's more chances of error or people to come at you.
Yeah. Speaking of Savannah, what did you guys? I feel like I've seen a lot of mixed opinions on her sort of backstory bundle that we got, and her now being on the bottom and her kind of emotional reaction to that. What do you guys think about that? Because we've seen a lot of nuance, I think, in Savannah's characters. So, some ups and some downs and some villainous moments, but also some touching moments.
I think the show did a good job of doing it at the right time, right? Like they showed Sage literally call her a mean girl, and then in the next scene, they show Savannah showing, her backstory and things like that. And this isn't just like any other backstory. This is like kind of like a big one, this is one that like affected her physically, all that stuff. So like, it's a big deal, And so even though Steven, it seemed like he was just in one ear, out the other, he was just sitting there, listening to the words. What she was saying seriously did have significance to the episode, and to the show clearly, because right after that, we go to commercial, we come back, and we're at the immunity challenge where she has this triumphant moment. So clearly, and I said this on my podcast, on the previous immunity challenge, the individual immunity, when Yellow Sophie won, we felt no emotion toward her winning. There was no emotional attachment to the person winning individual immunity. It was just like, oh, Sophie won, because we don't know who Sophie is yet. When Savannah won in this episode, we all felt something. Why? Because we know what this girl's been through. We know what she's thinking. We know how she feels about her situation in the game right now. We know all the details. So when she's crying, we understand why. There's nothing holding us back. So we know so much about Savannah, and the show did such a good job of building up this moment, putting that at the perfect time, making sure that even if she's portrayed as being, this super aggressive player that's snatching keys and, doing all these things, that she still has this other side to her and that she can be a quote unquote hero. Right. And so we've seen this before with Parvati, right? Like we've seen this type of an edit before where you have a cutthroat woman going out there and playing a hard game, but it's being portrayed in a positive way still. And I think that is exactly what the show's doing.
Can I, in the words of Emily Flippin, can I push back a little bit?
Sure.
Now, two things. A, okay. I love what Savannah's been bringing to the season. Like she is got that Parvati energy that is fantastic television. And B, this isn't to diminish like the things she went through at her job that she talked about. But this is a sentiment I saw a lot online. There's been some times where she was icing out like Jawan and Sage. And then also this is her first time being on the bottom. And it's like, we get this whole sob story. I'm like, that's how. Not again. The sob story seems. I don't. Maybe sob story is not even. The background seemed very like difficult and sympathetic. I was sympathetic to it, but I'm like, girl, you were on the bottom for one vote, and you've been picking on my boy Jawan. I'm like, I don't know. It's hard to root against.
She wants to get Jawan out of here first chance she gets. All that stuff that went out the window. All of a sudden,
exactly.
Two things can be true at the same time.
Exactly, but I think that's what makes her a complex character. Is a little bit of like that up and down and I don't know. So I wasn't. That's the thing. She's a weird because I don't know if I'm not like rooting for her, but I'm not rooting against her, and I want her to be in the game just to see what she does. But yeah, that doesn't necessarily like make me be like, oh, poor Savannah. Like she was out on one vote, and then as soon as she gets safety, she's like, I'm like the hot Grim Reaper. Like, mess it up. And she's just like cheesing our tribal.
Coming for vengeance immediately, you know?
Yeah. It's so fun to watch, but it was like, I mean this because maybe I'm just a Jawan fan. I'm like, you've been picking on my boy the whole time. Like,
but sometimes when reality hits you, it hits you fast.
Facts,
right.
Yeah.
So it's like, and again, even to the people or to the people that feel that way, I also feel like kudos to her though, right? Like, because it's like to be that dynamic, to be able to go there when you need to go there, like you have lived experience, and so to be able to go there, like I don't know, says something like you really are a savage. Like you're a savage that's been through some stuff, and I kind of respect it a little bit because sometimes you need a good story to go with a thing. And so like to be able to pull that up into, you know how they say acting classes, like you gotta. If you
pull from
great grandma, right? You gotta pull from past experiences. So I'm definitely not mad at that.
I'm curious to hear the other side of the story from her coworker. I got it, but also I saw a funny comment be like, imagine being one of her old coworkers, be like, yeah, I used to work with her, like, and then you're watching the episode, like having a watch party with The Office, and it's like,
oh, you were talking about her that way? Oh,
yeah,
okay, yeah, that could definitely have an impact. But I mean, hey, that's why you don't treat people like garbage. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you never know when it could come back to bite you. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that.
Everybody that go up the ladder got to come back down the ladder.
Yeah, I feel like the journalism world can be very cutthroat.
Absolutely, and but that I could absolutely see that story. Imagining like you've been at the office or just even like a promotion, and they hire somebody not in the company from outside the company, and Jawan was supposed to get that.
Well, yeah, I'm imagining this is again. It's like no photos of it. I'm imagining like they were best friends with the reporter, and they got replaced, and they're just like, damn. And it's not a reason to take it out on Savannah, but you're like, damn, I miss my homie. Like,
I had a moment very similar to this actually. Like it was very similar to this. Thank goodness it wasn't a 2-year contract. It was one event, but it was when I went to Saudi Arabia. It was when I went out there to commentate the $2 million Fortnite tournament, and I pretty much I had never commentated Fortnite in my life, right? I had just commentated Rocket League and Call of Duty, and they essentially someone dropped out and they needed someone to go to Saudi Arabia to do it. And on 4 days' notice, my agency was like, "Hey, do you want to go to Saudi Arabia in 4 days?" I was like, "Why not? Let's do it." Let's do it. I've never commentated it before, but I'll do it. So I learned the game. I learned the meta and the guns and things like that real quick. And then I flew out there and I was commentating with the top FNCS commentators, like the top Fortnite commentators in the world, right? Like that was who I was commentating with. So a lot of people that were in like the B tier and C tier of Fortnite commentary were like, how did this Rocket League and Call of Duty commentator get this spot, And the people that I was commentating with, I could tell that they were kind of like, okay, I don't think this guy really like there's probably other people that could have got the call up. But at the end of the day, I knocked it out the park. And then guess what? Come Championship Sunday, the Crown Prince wants me to commentate the grand finals. So that made those people that have been commentating Fortnite professionally for years feel a type of way.
Jealous or whatever.
I could feel that energy shift very quickly. You know what I'm saying?
And that does happen a lot in the real world, but it's always like And I've experienced that in different circumstances, but it's always like, what do you want me to do? Say no to an opportunity?
Right.
Exactly.
I'm with you. I don't know if I should be here, but I wasn't the one who picked.
Exactly.
I'm saying, yes.
I can understand what you think of me right now, but I'll take it. You know,
Right.
Not an excuse to treat you poorly, for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I definitely feel for what she's going through. I appreciate her for telling her story and being so open to tell it, because going on Survivor and telling your story to a camera, knowing that potentially millions and millions of people are going to hear it for decades and decades to come, it's not easy to do, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, they put certain people on this show for a reason, and Savannah's showing that. So
exactly. And that's why I'm excited to see her on 50. I just feel like she's so complex, and you know, whether you're rooting for her or against her, like a little bit mixed on it, like I am, it's just really fun TV. So
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Where do we go from here though? Like after this vote, how do we feel MC impacts the game leaving?
2 tribes, 4.5 people per tribe.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, you know, a final 9 vote. You got, I mean, obviously the Rizzo, Savannah, Sophie contingency, and then you probably still got like the Hina, which is going to be like Steven and Christina, maybe Sophie still in there, obviously, and then like Alex and Sophie B. And then who else? Who else we got?
Christina.
Yeah, Christina, Steven.
And Christina has an idol that Steven and Alex both know about.
Right. And the one thing that I will say from
there too.
Sophie and Alex, I like you said before, like going to tribal so many times, it kind of gets a little like a notch under your belt. And we've been seeing Alex work with Christina really closely, but I love even in this episode where he's like, Christina said she play it for me. I love that. But if I have to use that against her, I will. I'm like, I love their scrappiness. And even Sophie B is like, maybe has my time with Riz and Savannah been an anchor to me? Like I might have to cut them. And I low-key want to see that. Like again, I feel like Sophie B breaking away from Savannah and Riz could be a game-winning notch.
So
on her
I'll
belt.
say my comparison: Sophie and Savannah feel like Kinsey and Tiffany from 46.
So
They feel very similar. Other than them starting on the same tribe, their duo right now feels very similar, where they really rock with each other, but there might be a reason to go to the other side, you know? And so, you know, like Kinsey, she got, you know, pretty much beat down in the first few episodes, right? Just the same way that Sophie did. And now, you know, she's kind of chilling and letting all the other chaos happen once the merge hit. So
yeah,
I can see a lot of similarities, not only their edit, but their play style. And who knows, maybe Sophie B will be the one sitting there at the end. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a good point. I also think, like, talking about where we go from here, I do think naturally that the Sophie B, Savannah, Rizzo group's going to have a target, but I also see a lot of potential swings in the middle where you have Jawan and Sage. It's like, do you do a little bit more with Uli or do you flip back? You have Alex, who's I think is really nice spot in the middle, who has a relation with Sophie, Sophie S, Yellow Sophie, and I think they can kind of go either way and attach with Sophie B or stay with Hina. And then it's like also like, does Sophie B go with Alex to the other side? And I think there's some interest because Jawan and Sage might be like, oh, let's go back with Hina, but then maybe it's like, oh, well, Sophie S and Alex are actually going to go over with Uli. So I think the dynamics will be shifting a lot. I think it'll be interesting. And I'm glad, hopefully, we get a few clean weeks of just like normal votes. And I think they'll unfold in a really exciting way.
Well, I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited we were able to break it down this week with Jack and Rome. Before we go, Rome, what are you working on over here? I hear some rumblings of a party you got cooking. Like, what's the tea with that?
Listen, man, this is going to get released in the morning. Pretty sure the flyer is going to be out in the morning. So we'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit. But yes, I'm hosting another watch party, man. We hosted one in Kansas for the premiere earlier this year, and it went awesome. We had a bunch of people come out. It was in the middle of nowhere, but it was still a great time. Had a bunch of survivors come out and just have an absolute blast watching the episode. And so we're going to be doing it again, not in Kansas this time. We're going to be doing it in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay. So we got a pretty dope lineup that's going to be coming out in Phoenix. We're going to be right outside of Old Town Scottsdale. So if you want to, go to the watch party and then go have your own little watch party, you can go ahead and do that. Okay. So it's going to be a great time for sure. We got Philip Shepard coming. We got Rupert coming. We got Venus coming, who, you're watching on Traders Canada right now. We got Lauren Harp coming. We got Jelinski coming. So we got a good group that's going to be there. It's going to be
Jelinski of the year.
Yeah.
When is that going down, Rome?
It's going down December 17th. All right. It's going down December 17th in Phoenix, Arizona. If you want to find the tickets, you could just go to Eventbrite and search them up. Tickets will be live. And we'll also be playing Mafia, aka Traders, with all of the Survivor players for the VIP holders. So if you purchase VIP, you can play Traders with Venus, who, spoiler alert, if you're not watching Traders Canada, just got recruited as a trader. So shout out to Venus. So if you want to play the Traders with a trader, you could then come on to Phoenix. It's going to be a good time for sure. And also, let's not forget, shout out to you guys, because Brice and Wendell, I don't know if you want me to talk about it yet. I don't know.
You can say what
all
you
right.
want.
Brice and Wendell, man, they hosted their own finale. You already know that they're going to be doing a couple, man. They got to throw down twice, not just once, twice, man. So shout out to you guys, man, because you guys are putting it in overdrive, man. You guys are the pioneers of this watch party thing for Survivor. So, I appreciate all the tips and feedback you guys have been giving me throughout, helping me out and getting my watch parties going and stuff. So I seriously appreciate it. And seriously, get your tickets. If you've never been to a Brice and Wendell event and you're in either of the cities they're hosting it in for this finale, man, make sure you guys get your tickets ASAP. All right.
Yeah, come on with the plug. We appreciate that. Yes, we'll be at LA and in New York for the finale. So tickets are available. But also, like I have to say, Ron, when we were in Kansas, we went to Kansas. The reception that I got from the people that were at your party, like glowing reviews. I was like, I know. There's like, they were like, it was so great. They're like, I had to bend down to talk to Rome, but like, it was great.
That's foul. I'm like, I need to clone myself a few times so I could be in LA, Phoenix, and New York for these finales.
There you go.
I was like, how long is this drive? But then I'm like, we got Bryson went in LA though. So
you do. Can't be in two places.
Can't.
Make a choice, Jack. No, I'm kidding. Don't
tell a white lie though. But listen,
I might have to be at the Bryson when just to keep Ozzy in check.
He's gonna hit you up and he's gonna be like, hey man, I'll be there soon. You're gonna be like, where you at? He's gonna be like, I'm on a call.
Well, Bryson, we're not gonna be there either. So
listen, you never know where I'm gonna be, Jack. But no, for Rome's premiere party, once when he dropped Rupert, I definitely was like, Rome, I'm looking at tickets. Don't tell Wendell. But listen, a rising tide raises all ships. And so we love to see and support our friends in this community. That's what it's all about. Rome, we can't thank you enough. Jackery, as always. This has been your Survivor News, covering Survivor Season 49, Episode 8. We'll be back covering Episode 9. Let's go. I got a call to take, so I'm out.
Thanks for jumping on with us, Rome, man. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, yeah, of course, man. Love you guys, man. Take it easy.
Thanks.
I'll see you on the riff, bro.
Yes.
Ooh, it's the Purple Pants Podcast. You better listen in public, might make your stomach hurt. Ooh, it's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to unwind, you better get that box wine. It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to get your snack, you better hurry right back, though. It's the Purple Pants. It's the